It's Queen Elset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Okay, guys, so I got a message from a woman on Instagram, and she told me she's having an issue. She said that she doesn't feel anything. She's Aquarius. She's not feeling anything. She's not having any emotional range. She doesn't even feel much for her family. She used to, but she doesn't anymore. She feels like she's emotionally shut down, and she wants me to tell her, what do I think? Now, I do think that Aquarius have problems with our emotions. We all do. We all, to some extent, have to deal with our emotional selves. Some of us have problems with it. Some of us do better than others. It just depends on the person and what's going on in their chart. So I do believe that it's common for Aquarius to have problems with emotional anything. Anything emotional I can see an Aquarius having a problem with commonly anyway. So yeah, that's a true statement. But in your case, I don't think that's what it is. Because yeah, that aspect is going to be present because it is your sun sign. But listen to what you said. You said, I don't feel anything anymore. I used to. That tells me that more than likely you were in a state of depression. You were having an emotional health episode. And it could have been going on for years because episodes can last decades from what I understand. So somewhere in your life there was a trauma or traumas. Guys, ever notice how sometimes you'll have a trauma and it'll be piled up with other traumas? Like you'll get hit by a car, then your grandfather passes away, and then your school shuts down. And you're like, what the hell is going on? So sometimes it's multiple traumas. But whatever the case is, trauma or traumas occurred and you shut off. That's what we call that. There used to be this song, well, there is this song by James Blunt. I really like James Blunt. He had two songs I liked a lot, and one of them was called Goodbye My Lover. Whenever I was seeing somebody, we had a love song and we had a breakup song. The love song was the song that we made love to all the time, and the breakup song was the song that I sung to get over them. And one of my lovers, their song was Goodbye My Lover. And one of the things he said in the song is, I'm so, I'm so, I'm so hollow. And that's where you are, hollow. And when you come to that space where you're hollow, where you're not feeling anything, you were typically in a space of depression. Something has happened and you shut your feelings off so you don't have to deal with how bad they felt. But this is the problem. I did the same thing. I in my youth and I was like about 12 or 13 years old, a whole bunch of things just exploded. My hormones being one of them. My mother and I started having the worst screaming fights. She started just being unbearable. I think at that point, she started to see me as a woman versus as a daughter. And everybody knows when that happens in a family, the dynamic goes south. It really went south with us. And on top of everything else, I had been molested like the year before. I was angry about it, very angry. And still to this day, it doesn't make sense to me the way it went down and that it wasn't helped or addressed. But it is what it is. You got to forgive and release, and you got to move on. So anyway, at that age, all this stuff was happening. Hormones, molestation had just occurred, fighting with my mom, all this awful stuff is going on. So as a 12-year-old girl going into 13, you can't process all this. So I just got angry. I got bitter and I clicked off. I learned how to shut off. Kind of like in the Vampire Diaries. And if you guys who are Vampire Diary freaks like I am, I love Damon. Oh my God, Team Damon. You could shut off your humanity. In the Vampire Diaries, they could shut off their vow that was their humanity, and they wouldn't feel anything. And that's what a lot of us do, especially Aquarius. Aquarius are good at that. And we shut off that vow and we don't feel anything. But when we do that, it's really a response to trauma. It's a response to depression. And we usually just go through feeling nothing, feeling numb, feeling hollow for years and years and years. The problem is that you can't stay like that. Eventually, all those feelings that you stuff come back. The chickens always come home to roost. And them chickens is waiting. They somewhere in a drawer, in a closet, waiting for you. And what happened with me is many years later of self-destructing and being angry and all kinds of stuff happening in between that. But many years later, I met a person, Voldemort, who played with my feelings, which is always dangerous. And then it's more dangerous because you have a person who's not used to dealing with their feelings. And then when he did that, and I was trying to get sense of everything and trying to get my life back, I had an emotional breakdown. I just broke. I fucking broke. It was too much. It was too much. It was all that stuff from before. It was everything. And all I could do was cry and cry. I think I cried for like 2 years. I think because it was like I would go to work. I was in an awful mood most of the time. I would go to work and I would do my job. I would leave as fast as I could, and I would come home and cry. I was always crying. I would go to the bathroom for a few minutes, think about something, and cry. I think for a year or two, I just cried off and on, throughout the day, and that was all that stuff. It was all the emotional stuff that was still there. It was all of the stuff that coward invoked in me on purpose. Because I always say, if you invoke emotions in a woman or a man, knowing that you really don't care about them, you're a fucking bitch and a coward. Because you don't have to do that. You can just have sex with anybody. You don't have to play games with people's emotions to get sex. Come on. That's something a child does. But in my case, it was actually good because when that happened, it forced all that emotion to come up and it forced me to deal with it. So in your particular case, that's more than likely something similar is going on. You're going through some type of mental health episode. And I'm telling you, you can make it. You can make it through. You need to see a mental health professional. That's what I did. As soon as I saw myself losing control, the first thing I did was get a therapist. Because I was like, oh, shit. Shit getting real. I was like, oh, something is wrong here. And the first thing I did was get a therapist. And for a year, my therapist helped me talk it out, have coping mechanisms. Just get myself together. I did the work myself, but my therapist is the one that guided me, told me a lot of things to read, and started me on my mental health journey. And then I started to read other things and get into other things. And my priestess training helped a lot with that too. Because priestess training is very therapeutic. Oddly enough, I didn't expect that, but it is. It's very therapeutic because while you're training to be a priestess, a lot of things that you're learning is how to be a better person. And part of being a better person is being a healthier mind, body, spirit. So being more grounded, being more centered. Those kind of things. So the bottom line is that you seem like a really sweet person to me. I think you're just depressed, and I think you need to see a mental health professional. And I think that person can help you deal with what is going on inside of you. And you can come out on the other side. If you don't want to see a mental health professional immediately, you can start with self-help books. There's lots of them. Louise L. Hay has a bunch of them. Her book, You Can Heal Your Life, and the other one called the Love Yourself Workbook are the ones that I personally have used and recommended like 1,000 times. Iyanla Van Zant has a plethora of books that could help you deal with what you're going through. Her book, The Value in the Valley, is my favorite one. It's the one I started off with. So I would suggest that you see a mental health professional. But in the meantime, if you wanted to look at some self help books, you can. The reason why I say see a mental health professional is because generally, for the state that you're in, you just need some guidance. You need somebody to look at you and help you figure out exactly what's going on, and somebody to listen to you to express what's going on with you. Okay? You can also see a spiritualist, like a pastor or a spiritual healer or leader. Um, I honestly haven't had a lot of success with people who've done that. I've had success with people who've done certain things, like for instance, they started to get readings and started to see where they were and how to fix it. Some of those people, yeah, but a lot of people ended up just getting advice, but the advice was not very helpful. It was common sense advice, but it wasn't very helpful to all of them. In your case, you need some healing. You need more than just, you know, take a vacation and relax. You need more than just that kind of advice. You need some healing. You need some coping mechanisms. You need some books. You need some ways that you can deal with this. You need somebody to talk to. You need to talk about what's hurting you, you see. So if I were you, that's what I would do. Okay, sweetheart? It's not just being Aquarius. Yeah, Aquarius got some issues with emotions, but when you're feeling hollow, you're probably really in a strong state of depression. And you can fix it. You can come out on the other side and you can be happy again. Trust me, because I'm happier now. I mean, and it's not even just now. I mean, I just kept getting gradually happier. From the moment I walked away from Voldemort, I continued to get gradually happier. I went through my bottom, my sadness and all that first, all that, up chuck of emotion. But then after that, I just got gradually and gradually happier. So you can do the same thing. You just have to work on it one day at a time. I hope that helps. All right, guys, if you know somebody that's thinking about exactly the same thing, please pass this video on to them and tell them I said it's going to be okay. All right. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I love to see the thumbs up. Likewise, if you guys want to send me a love donation, I'll leave my PayPal. If you want to send me a gift, I'll leave my Amazon wish list. If you would like to get a tarot, an oracle card, or an astrology chart done by me, email me and I'll give you prices and an appointment. If you would like to hit me up on Facebook or Instagram, I'll drop those under here as well. And I hope that you all have a wonderful Sunday. And I thank you for being here. And I thank you for your positive energy and your positive comments and your questions. And I will see you tomorrow and we will have another fabulous conversation. See you later.